Hello everybody, Miles Kessler here. Can you hear me? Be sure to open your speaker so you can hear what's going on. How's everybody doing today? I'm here. Let me just turn this off for a second. I'm here, so if you got your speaker turned on, great. Miles Kessler here. Welcome to our today's Facebook Live session on Aikido and delayed gratification. Now this is a Facebook Live that I have placed Tuesday or Wednesday. I did a blog post on it's been part of a 5-part series, Aikido and the evolution of response, and the blog post was Aikido and the survival instinct. And first, thanks for everybody who's been giving me feedback and comments on the blog post and on Facebook. It's really great. Keep those comments coming. And before I dive into today's Facebook Live, I just want to remind you that please stay till the end because I have a free gift for you. It's something I had already kind of mentioned a few times in the blog post, and yesterday I also mentioned it. But it's a free PDF on transforming your fight, flight, freeze instinct, and it's a reference guide and practice worksheet. So inside of this reference guide, I have laid out 5 practices, and they're not the only 5, but they're just 5. You know, there's many practices for helping to overcome transform the fight, flight, freeze instinct, evolve it, whatever word you want to use. Language is a bit difficult there because we don't want to kill it. We want to evolve it. So there's many practices, but I just laid out 5 in that worksheet, and they were practices such as observing, really learning how to observe and contain your fear. Also knowing what is your survival instinct type. So in other words, when you're really stressed and there's conflict coming up, are you more the fight type? Are you more the flee type? Or are you more the freeze type? And every situation will be different, but we all have a certain type. So these are a couple of the practices. And one of the practices that I mentioned in that free gift is the practice of delayed gratification. And it just turns out that that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about and teaching you guys today. This is a short teaching. It's a short teaching that'll give you quick wins because this is something that everybody can identify and relate to. So let's go ahead and take a look at Aikido and the practice of delayed gratification. By the way, if you have any comments or anything, go ahead and leave those comments in the... oh, hang on, we got a few here. Yeah, there's Mandy Barber. She's joined us. Hi, Mandy. Nice to see you. If you have any questions while I'm teaching, if you have any comments, just put those in, and if I have time, I will bring those into the session. So let's begin with delayed gratification. So back in the 60s. Okay, everybody, I'm back. I'm really sorry about that. Turn on your sound. Click the sound down here. Yeah, it was interrupted for me too. I see that Kelly just wrote. And luckily, I've been able to resume. Sorry for the interruption. We had a very strange. We had an internet glitch. So these things happen. Are you back? If you're back, Kelly. If you're back, Mihai. How you doing, Mihai? If you're back, Mandy, maybe give me a thumbs up. You see Mihai's joined us. Hello. And I'm going to see if everybody gets back here before I disappear. Yeah, it says right there, broadcast interrupted. Okay, it looks like everybody's back. Send me those thumbs up so I know that you're there. Great. Anyways, so as I was speaking, we were right at today's teaching, Aikido and the practice of delayed gratification. Back in the... Kelly, good to be back. Good to have you back. It's good to be back for me too. So back in the 60s, there was a very famous experiment that has become known as the Stanford marshmallow test. And this was actually some research, an experiment that was done on the practice of delayed gratification. And what they did, they took some kids, some small kids. I think they're maybe 8, 9 years old or maybe younger. They put them in a room by themselves and at a table, and on the table there was a plate, and on the plate there was a marshmallow. Kids love marshmallows. And they told the tester or whoever it was, told the child something like, okay, here's a marshmallow. There's a marshmallow here. I'm going to leave the room, but don't eat the marshmallow. If you want to eat the marshmallow now, you can, but I suggest that you don't eat it now, and if you wait later, I'll give you 2 marshmallows. So they told the children not to take not to go for the gratification right now, but to delay it, and then later you'll get 2. You'll get a greater reward. Now they didn't make a rule or anything. These days they gave the child the choice, and they left, and they found out, half the kids took the instant gratification, and I don't even know if it was half, but a certain number of the kids did instant gratification. a certain number of the children, uh, and that they're saying that they were 4 or 5 years old, as I remember. Yeah, right. And a certain number of the kids were able to do delayed gratification for whatever reason. Either they had it in them, or they were educated, or whatever it was. And then they were later rewarded. That was the beginning of the experiment. So what they ended up doing is they followed these children through their life, decade by decade by decade. They did a follow-up study. And what they found was that the children the children who were able to practice delayed gratification, they found that those kids they had much better life outcomes in their relationships, much better life outcomes with their families, with their health, professionally, and basically their overall happiness was at a better place than the children who weren't able to practice delayed gratification. So now that's a really kind of an overview. I mean, I simplified the whole experiment, but they basically were able to prove through this marshmallow test that the practice of delayed gratification. So if we delay our gratification, we suffer a little bit now, or we sacrifice a little bit of pleasure, gratification now, it's a big benefit for us in the future. So, and the basic conclusion was that delayed gratification is good. I'm not saying we should always delay our gratification. Instant gratification is fine, but the practice of delayed gratification, as it turns out, for life outcomes is quite good. And the practice of delayed gratification, as it turns out, for Aikido and the evolution of response is essential. Especially when it comes to our basic survival instincts of fight, flight, and freeze. So, what are we delaying? What is the gratification that we're delaying when we're trying to evolve from our lower instinct, the intelligence of our lower instinct, the survival intelligence, fight, flight, freeze, to higher Aikido intelligence that is centered, open, aware, accepting, connected, and able to kind of creatively flow with the emerging stress and conflict. So what is the gratification that we're delaying? So fight, as it turns out, fight has its own type of gratification. Flight has its type of gratification. And freeze also has its type of gratification. And in the midst of stress and conflict, when these three actions come up, fight, flight, freeze, it's helpful to understand what these gratifications are. The gratification for the fight instinct. The fight instinct approaches or moves towards or is more aggressive towards stress and conflict, and it is gratified when it controls the conflict or it controls the stress. Whew, got it. Now I feel gratified. So that is fight. Fight. Fight approaches and it's gratified by control. Flight, or fleeing, or running away, or escaping, the flight instinct gets its gratification from just that, from escape. When it's really gotten away, it's like, wow, thank God that's over. It's gratified. So fight, the gratification for fight is control. The gratification for flight is escape. And freeze, the gratification for freeze, a little bit tricky because, freeze is kind of really checked out, is very little awareness of what's arising internally or externally. The freeze instinct gets its gratification from the disappearance of fear. So stress and conflict come up, fear is flooded, and it just kind of spaces out, checks out. It boom, boom, beam me up, Scotty. It gets out of there. And it's gratified only when the fear disappears. So there's nothing wrong with controlling things. There's nothing wrong with escaping, something's dangerous, you want to escape it. And there's nothing wrong with wanting the fear to disappear. It's okay. And in a real survival situation, that could be very good. But, again, these instincts are so hardwired, we use them in situations where they're not necessarily functional. So when we're practicing the delayed gratification with the fight, flight, freeze instinct, what are we delaying? We need to delay control, the urge to control the situation. We need to practice delayed gratification of escaping the situation. So a kind of conflict comes up, there's stress, and it's like, I gotta go. delay the gratification and stay present. And we need to delay the gratification of the disappearance of fear, or in other words, spacing out or checking out. Now, at this point, it's very helpful to know what is your type. Are you a fight type? Generally speaking, I'm sure all of these three things are working within all of us, but generally speaking, are you a fight type? Which means that control is going to be a big issue for you in terms of evolving to higher intelligence. Are you a flight type? Which means that escaping, avoiding is going to be a big issue for you in terms of evolving towards higher intelligence. Or are you a disappearance of fear type, which basically means spacing out, etc. If you're a flight type, then having a clear intention to delay the need for control will activate your development. I'm going to say that again. If you are a flight type, then having a clear intention for delaying the need for control will activate development in you. So imagine you're in a stressful situation or a conflict and you're a fight type and it's like it starts to come out. Take a deep breath, back to the center, delay the need for control. If you are a flight type, having a clear intention to delay the need for escaping will activate your development. So you're in the middle of stress and conflict and you want to get out of there. If you just take a deep breath and delay that gratification to escape, the need to escape, it will activate development. And if you're a freeze type, having a clear intention to delay the need for the disappearance of fear, or delay the need for spacing out or checking out or zoning out, or it's not here, delaying that need. Now that's a tricky one because it's very, very unconscious. You're already unconscious when that's happening, but if you can delay that tendency, it will activate your development. So delaying the need for control activates development, delaying the need for escape activates development, delaying the need for the disappearance of fear or for spacing out activates development. But you have to understand something. When you delay the need for control or escape or spacing out, that means that you're going to be present right in the thick of fear, and it's going to be very, very unpleasant and probably even uncomfortable, maybe even painful. So you have to be prepared. Having a safe environment, a dojo where we practice these things is always optimal. But then we need to be able to kind of take that into our daily life, and really walking down the street or going shopping, or somebody's going to buy that last thing before you get it, or they're going to cut in front of you in line, or there's these things. The fight, flight, freeze is always being activated, and we can really look at these tendencies of fight, flight, freeze, or the need to control, the need to escape, and the need to space out in the midst of stress and conflict. We can see these things pretty easily under not so intense conditions. And in those situations where we have a lot of space, a lot of capacity, time and awareness, practicing the delayed gratification of control, the delayed gratification of escape, and the delayed gratification of spacing out will actually activate development. It will make things more unpleasant, uncomfortable in that moment, but it will help you evolve along the path of evolution of response. So I got one comment here from Mandy. I'm just going to pull that up for a second. Mandy says, when I freeze, I cannot move or get more scared. Okay. So Mandy, that's kind of normal what happens in the freeze instinct. So really, that's why I said the freeze is a tendency, because we're already kind of gone. We're frozen or we're paralyzed. At that point, really just feel your body. Go to the most present, the most immediate thing, which is your body. Ground yourself, feel the feet on the ground, feel the legs in the body, feel the center, feel the breath in the body. That's a good way to kind of put you back into the present moment. And then if you can manage to feel the fear and be with the fear and breathe and just kind of relax it. If you need to move away, if you need to find a way to cope, definitely by all means cope. But this instinct, this is what I'm talking about, maybe even in your dojo in certain situations, training with certain partners or doing certain techniques, or the teacher asks you to do a high fall or whatever it is. There are certain things even in the dojo that will activate the fight, flight, freeze. And there's certain things in relatively minor situations through our daily life where it gets activated, but it's not so crucial. Then you can start to practice with it. And when you see the freeze instinct coming up, get back into the body, breathe, check with the environment, touch some space around you, walk around, whatever it takes. Be present. That's the whole thing with all of these. And we're going to talk about centered and present in a future talk. But you always want to get back into the present moment and be with the experience as much as possible. When you're really center grounded and open and aware, and you're able to allow, then working with this stuff is very easy. But when our awareness closes down and the fight, flight, freeze becomes stronger or bigger than our awareness, then we need to have practices and practice of delayed gratification of the fight, flight, freeze, or the delayed gratification of the need to control, the delayed gratification of the need to escape, the delayed gratification of the need to space out or freeze or get more scared. Practicing that can go a long way in helping you evolve from the lower instincts to our higher intelligence. So remember the famous marshmallow experiment from Stanford. Practicing short-term delayed gratification it has been proven to give a much greater long-term positive outcomes in your life. And this is certainly the case for the transformation of our survival instincts and the actualization of your higher potential along the developmental practice of the evolution of response. And in fact, the practice of delayed gratification, I found, is a key practice. So that's it for today. I want to close by saying that first, thanks for all of those who joined. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you for watching. As I said before, I have a free PDF gift for all of you. It's a PDF fulcrum practice reference guide and worksheet called Transforming the Fight, Flight, Freeze Instinct. If you're looking below this video, you can probably find a place there to click over and download it. It's free for you. I'd love to have you to join, and I hope it brings some benefit for you. Even the practice of the delayed gratification is written in there. My next blog post will be on, you're welcome, Mandy. My next blog post will be on the second video in this series. Remember, I'm doing a 5-part video series called Aikido and the Evolution of Response. The first one was Aikido and the Survival Instinct. And the next one will be coming out hopefully tomorrow, if I can get it together. It's going to be called Aikido and the Power of Choice. So that's it for today. That's it for this. That's it for this short, but sweet, hopefully, Facebook Live on the Aikido and the practice of delayed gratification. Thank you all for joining, and I want to wish you all the best, and may your path lead you forward, forever and always forward, in your Aikido and the path of the evolution of response. Okay, everybody, all the best.